Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to. Obviously, we have had, I'd say a change of branding, but it's back to the original setup that obviously the OGs do remember. Obviously, welcome to Jack Mac LFC. It's me and Kev, Spider LFC, you know him. Anyway, it's going to be a chilled, relaxed, sensible debate. Obviously, we'll talk obviously a lot about football, but a very important subject in terms of obviously the current journalism scene within sport at the minute, and obviously the backlash of obviously the Gary Lineker. And we want to gauge your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, whether you're watching live or if you're watching in the repeat. So please just let us know. Try and be as sensible as you possibly can. You know what sensible means in the comments, everyone. So, Kev, how are we, mate?
How's it going? How's it going to Jack? Hello, Jack's chat. You see, I was talking to Jack yesterday when he was on Connor's chat, and he's just like, "And you know yourself, Connor, and chat and this and that." And I was like, Jack, you have to give a bit of respect. You have to call it Connor's chat. So I'm going to say Jack's chat. How are you, Jack's people? How are you?
Yeah, hello. I think I just called
It's the
everyone.
present. It's your presenter. It's your presenter mode.
Yeah,
When I say Jack, it's the presenter mode.
I say chat in my dreams. Chat.
Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wakes up. He wakes up in the morning. His man brings him up a cup of tea, and he goes, "Thanks, chat."
Say hello. Big up there, chat as well, everyone. Oh,
I just said that so I could use that joke.
Everyone take a shot when I say that word. It's the weekend anyway. It's Friday night. Put your feet up on that. Make sure if you are new around here, hit that subscribe button if you want. Don't really have to if you I'm not really too bothered. But we do a lot of shows. I've done I think 2 or 3 shorts today as well. Obviously on the YouTube short scene. I've done a couple
You
of
drunk yet?
Nearly. It depends on people down
What
there.
shorts you're taking is
Yeah. So the 3 talking points, as obviously me and Kev and most importantly use in the comment section below tonight. Obviously, we'll be speaking about the backlash from obviously what Gary Lineker said, obviously in relation to obviously the current journalism scene in sport as well, and just in general how much of it's turned on its head and how stupid, how far free speech does go, which is not a thing no more. Obviously, me and Kev and all of us sensible people, obviously we're all about free speech if it's in the right way, obviously presenting facts or like putting a correct debate, a very knowledgeable, sensible debate going forward anyway. Obviously Conte, obviously in relation to him potentially losing his job. Kev, we'll start off with the Conte one in relation to, and Charlotte, let us know. It's going to be really interesting in relation to Conte. The pressure has very much been mounting on the Italian in the last couple of weeks, in all honesty. And I think it hit its breaking point a couple of nights ago anyway. Spurs getting knocked out. Going out of the Champions League with very much a win, would you say, Miss?
Yeah, they're just non-existent. They shouldn't have even been there with the way they kind of carried on throughout the tournament, and really down to this debacle with Conte and whatever's going on. And I don't know. I mean, for me, he's been a bit of a dick, to be honest with you, with regards where he's not showing Spurs any respect. He's just kind of like, I'm throwing my toys out of the pram now and I want to kind of get out of Dodge. Let's move on to the next project or whatever. And this is why you get managers like this that only do 3-year projects, but he's not even lasting this length of time in Spurs this time around. He's not even giving them the chance. I have no idea what that guy is saying, but it should be sorry. But for me, Conte is great manager, but a bit of a dick. And I know most people are kind of, they've got their own egos going on within sports. Or Mourinho's
Would you say him and Mourinho are quite similar?
Yeah, in their own.
You do analyse the way Mourinho's obviously started his career really well in Portugal, winning the Champions League and all that. And obviously getting a big report, and it's obviously his career, great one at Chelsea, and then it's very much fizzled out. Not like he's still a good manager, but not really the level. He's not sustained his level.
Yeah,
to say
he doesn't like the Premier League, though, does he? He does it because he knows that's where the money is at. But
Mm.
he comes in, he just doesn't like the league himself. He just kind of he loves to go back to Italy all the time, and he loves Italian football. He's got the passion. He's a passionate Italian manager, but he just kind of jumps ship and comes to the Premier League for a season or so just to make a few bob and then head back. That's the kind of ideology he gives me anyway. You know, he doesn't present himself well. Whatever about being sick, I don't even know if that was true the way it's kind of going on now because he's letting it fizzle out. He's kind of like, yeah, I might be here next week. We'll see. You know, we decide what's. It's so whimsical, and it's so unprofessional, really. That I don't know. I think Spurs should just get rid, and probably whatever about going for Patch, that could be a mistake.
Yeah.
Going backwards.
Yeah. Obviously, I think if you'd asked chat, let us know your thoughts in relation to Conte. Obviously, we're starting off with that. This is obviously a great article. I will leave this link for this article anyway. Who's the reporter on this? David Hayter, very renowned journalist for The Guardian, and he was asking a question in this article. Pochettino and Tuchel in Tottenham's thoughts with Conte's exit looming. And for me personally, as Kev's alluded to there, Conte very much dug a massive hole for himself in the last couple of weeks. First and foremost, if you ask the Tottenham even as you ask the Tottenham players and the fans, they're quite frankly, I'm very surprised, Kev, that they're in the position that they actually are currently. Like
I had them for second or third. I thought we'd be battling along with they'd be battling along with us in City. And
I just look at the league table. I'm like, how are you still there? Like in fourth, it's laughable in all honesty, mate.
Yeah.
Like the standard of football is atrocious. I think. Would you not think getting Poch back, Kev, would be a good positive move, or do you think?
You never know. Look at Mourinho going back to Chelsea. You know, these things never really they very rarely work out. You know, Kenny won a trophy coming back as an interim manager with us, and that was kind of a nice little, but it wasn't. But it was just a stepping stone to the next person, really. If Poch was to come back as an interim manager, yeah, fine. If you give him the full-time job, if he's winning a lot and he's doing well, fine. But that's the only way you'd kind of bring him back is as an interim manager until the next job kind of pops up or the next available manager is there. I think the Spurs fans are welcoming back, and I think they're kind of done with Conte's antics now at this stage. So I don't know, man. It's just I'd hate to be a Spurs fan. I'd hate to be involved in Spurs right now. It makes me so glad that we've a person with an attitude and morals like Jurgen Klopp as our manager.
It goes to the owner as well, Kev. Obviously, Liverpool fans, all of us, everyone's got different range and opinions in the fan base about FSG. But I sit there and go, Daniel Levy, even when he had Gareth Bale, and you look at that summer where they bought, was it 6-7 players for all Gareth Bale?
100 million something, yeah.
Yeah, they bought the likes of Lamella and the bloody list goes on. And it was like the Celso and a load of other players. And quite frankly, who the players, was there any of those players that actually stood out? It's probably one or two that actually I can't think off the back of my head anyway, but that probably stood out. But it just goes to show, mate, could you imagine the scenes if Daniel Levy was actually in charge of Liverpool Football Club? Like our fan base think that we have it bad with FSG, and of course we'd like to buy a couple more midfielders, and I think we will eventually get there. Would have liked it a bit sooner, but if it was Daniel Levy, Christ, we'd be shopping for championship midfielders every single season. But it's going to be interesting. But chat, let us know your thoughts on that as well. And obviously, chat, can you please refrain from, if you can just please type in English, so obviously chat does know. I can read your comments out first and foremost. But big up there, Dave. Breaking news, Matt Hancock's. Oh yeah, and that's me and Kev probably will. We're creating a separate channel anyway, but we can do a completely different channel so that way we just speak with all you just about like just general stuff in general, because there's so many, and that is a massive thing that obviously if I'd done a showbiz channel, Kev, or if me and you done a showbiz, like the fact that they allowed him to actually go on national television or like on ITV and parade around the jungle, or it's like it just goes to show like how society is currently, and really it was shocking the fact that he was allowed to do what he done and he wasn't reprimanded, and he's done countless interviews, Kev, and still that man should be in jail.
Yeah, most of the politicians, man.
Yeah,
it's
typical
just
politicians.
A lot of them. You give anybody a bit of power, man. Power corrupts even the best of us, and that's the problem. You have to learn that the mindset that you get when you're put in any position of power is that you have to go into with the mindset that you're going to have power over people's lives, over how our countries run, how our population is run, and you have to go into with the mindset that it can't change you. But even some of the best ones get done, and then some of the ones that are still staying moral are the ones that are probably hanging on the edges and kept out there by the bad ones, and that's the problem. You either become a good person or you become just bad enough to get in the door, and then and it's just the way it is, man. It's just like
sad, really, isn't it?
It's like a posh mafia, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the whole world's probably being like that for
it is
the whole existence of human
power talks.
100%, mate. But big up, chat. Obviously, let us know your thoughts on Conte. We're gonna move on to obviously, a little bit about Barcelona, and then of course we'll talk about the big talking point that the whole world's been talking about, even in Brazil. And before I was coming on air, I was having a little look at the articles, and it's travelled around the world very quickly, as we know. Conte looks disinterested most of the time at Spurs. 18-month contract is never a good sign. 100%. Yeah, I think he runs out this season. I think it's this season. Yeah, so.
He'll just run. Yeah, he's just wanting out. He wanted to pay a day and get out of there. That's it.
Yeah, Conte always looks disinterested. His man is definitely back in Italy, 100%.
If they sack, he gets paid. If he leaves, he gets paid. Yeah,
it's a win-win.
If he gets sacked, he gets paid more if he gets sacked, and that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting to get sacked.
Yeah, Abdallah, thank you very much for tuning in, mate.
Apologies for deleting your message, Abdallah. It's just that if we can't understand it, we can't talk about it, so we don't know if it's insulting or not. So we'll just have to have to delete it first.
But thank you very much for tuning in, mate. And obviously, as we know, we are a Liverpool channel, but we just talk about football in general. We've got plenty of Manchester United fans that are subscribed to the channel as well. That all sounds. Sally O, pick up Gary and chat. Hope you've all had a fantastic day and obviously good start to your weekend anyway. And if you're out tonight, behave, everyone. There is always a never go back to the X for a reason. Yeah, 100% there, David. 100%. How's everyone doing? Not too bad. Should be a good game if we don't fall to pieces. Yes, 100%, Mark. Obviously, we've done our big up there, mate. Thank you very much. Obviously, dropping in Spiders or socials as well. Hope you had a good day, Mark, as well. Obviously, Mark, are you back from obviously looking after the animal sitting for your sister as well? Hopefully, if you're still there, mate, hopefully it's going well. But Kev, Barcelona, obviously. Getting done. I'll quickly read out what they were done anyway, because I have done a YouTube short. If you haven't seen it on the channel, we did do an instant reaction to the news when it broke. In relation to Barcelona have been charged with corruption after payments totaling over 7.3 million were made to an ex-vice president of the Spanish referees committee between 2001 to 2018. Not surprised. Are you?
In other news, water is wet.
Yeah, no, it's. What do you think about that?
Juventus is the Italian Barcelona in my eyes. So that's just the way it works. They're tapping up, as they say back in the day. Nobody says tapping up anymore. We were talking about this last night, and nobody says tapping up anymore. But these are like the kings of tapping up. They were coming home making breakfast for the players' grandmothers,
the referees,
and stuff like that. And the things that they were doing. Yeah, look, it's just every person, every team that wants a player sits down and has a conversation with them at one point. I get it, and every team taps up like that. But I mean, Barcelona were pretty. The the gutter kings of tapping up and corruption really going behind and getting their way. They were the club that just decided that what if they wanted it, they were taking it, and there was nothing you could do about it because their money talked. And now, a lot of people since, and I think they got away with a lot more with the way the state of FIFA was in. So with the state of the way FIFA was when the corruption scandals were starting and all that kind of stuff, and that kind of trickled down into UEFA, and you had the same kind of there. Yeah.
The maddest one, Kev, is we all were there. Was it 10 years ago when I think it cashed your minds back, chat. I know it was very much separate, and we've had interviews with Mourinho where he's gone off his head. And when Mourinho and Pep Guardiola in La Liga, I think that was in around that time period as well. Yeah, was it when Mourinho poked? Was it Guardiola or someone in the eye?
Yeah,
for Real Madrid.
He
done something happened there, or I don't know if it was Guardiola who done that too, but it's madness, mate. And obviously, as I was saying with the Philip. I have, mate, back to, obviously, if no one knew my channel before, it was called Jack McAllister. That's what it was originally for like 3-4 years until I stupidly changed it anyway. But I've reverted it back to the usual setup. Did you watch me when I was Jack McAllister?
Yeah, that's what I knew, yes. Yeah, it was Jack Mac. I was there, Jack, when it was about, I think it was about 16 followers at the time or something. They popped in, so I just see the couple of watch those. Yeah,
because that's all about Kev, and I've been speaking to Kev last good best part of last year anyway, properly, and even Dave keeps on always the lads. Everyone calls me Jack McAllister, and I'm like, okay, I'll go back because it's muscle memory.
I think, as I said to you before, it was probably the best thing you could have done with Anfield Road TV is make it a collective thing. Between about a bunch of Liverpool fans getting together, and getting involved like that, So the Jack Mac thing is you, dude. That's what I always said. Yeah,
that's me. But Phil. Sorry for a long answer anyway. But yeah, loads of stuff is going on. Oh, good. Yeah, it's back to the original. Big up there, Scouts, absolute legends. And hope you're having a fantastic Friday night. Thank you very much for Kev for sitting down. That's what we do enjoy. If it's not about Liverpool, we just love talking about football and of course we might get into a bit of politics very soon.
Absolutely. So if the lads have any topics that they want to bring up as well in the chat, they can bring it up and we'll talk about it. I'll say whatever. I'm the mean one.
I can be winner.
He can.
When I be mean, I'll end up getting banned off YouTube. Or Elon Musk will be like, "Yeah, you can't say that." Anyway,
I think there's a ratio to meanness. I think I'm already at that slight bit of mean. So if I get slightly more mean, they don't see that. But if you get slightly more mean, they're seeing that. No, that's a big.
Elon Musk will be sound if you pay £10 a month for that blue tick. It'll be sound. It goes into the back of his pocket. To pay for Manchester United also. But big up there, Scouts. Nothing will happen with these clubs. That's the problem. Have too much power. Quickly bring it up there. Sorry, chat. That's what I was meant to have done. Rookie edit, just so you can all see what we're talking about there. Obviously, in relation to, as Shay said there, nothing will happen with the clubs. That's the problem. They have too much power behind them. And that's the thing, Kevin. There's no one really. You look at, obviously, the corruption, as you alluded to, in terms of top to bottom within modern day football now. There's no one really, let's not say gatekeeping, but having a guardianship that is very moral, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one really you could look to in any organisation in football currently to say, well, you haven't got your hands dirty in certain moments.
Yeah. There's a few. You'd either have to be. See, a lot of these guys are really smart with finances, and a lot of these guys know how to work around loopholes and stuff like that. You need when you put ex-footballers in charge from corrupt eras, they're going to be as corrupt as anybody who's even in the business world that takes over. So there's a level playing field of corruption. What you need is somebody like batshit crazy like Eric Cantona or something put in there, and just say he will just talk about the seagulls and the football and get on with the rest. He won't care about the money. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. This kind of stuff, these kind of guys are the ones that should be in charge. They should really get. They need to
proper
change
football
the
and people.
Yeah, they need to bring in extra parties. that are outside these little groups to decide what goes on and who does what. But look, as the lad said, Barcelona mightn't get done. But I mean, if this corruption is there and they're getting, and if they've been charged with corruption, then they've already had their findings. They'll have to get reprimanded. No, whether it's they'll get dock points if they're after creating corruption. They could be knocked out of the league. Corruption is bigger than FFP, so there has to be some sort of standard. If you're going back in the day when they used to say that there was like, a referee was paid like 100,000 to kind of throw a game, or 20,000, everybody was like, oh no, that's just a lot of money. This guy is legit. No, this guy is getting paid 7.3 million. You got to know that 5 million has gone in his pocket, and the rest has have to be structured down to these referees that have been paid off to do this corruption as well, and to activate it. So for me, there'll be dock points. The referee board will be disbanded. Something will happen,
That's the thing, you know what I mean? You're spot on. I look at it and I don't know if you remember then, chat. If you remember, was it last year where was it Martin Braithwaite, their current? I think I don't know if he's current or ex striker that they had. I think they bought him from like one of the La Liga teams, and whoever they bought him from last year ended up getting relegated.
Okay.
But they signed him outside of the guidelines of like it was an emergency buy or something, and it was weird. Like it's, as you said, mate, it's so catered to the big three in La Liga, and that's why La Liga as a product for me personally is not going to be ever anywhere near as big as it used to be. If you get me, because it just gatekeeps the three top La Liga teams.
Yeah. They've already got they've already got their own little Super League kind of thing going there, really, in their own little way, because they've decided amongst themselves, look, we'll win titles these few years, we'll win titles these good. It seems like that way, and I don't know, but if Barcelona have been done for doing this outside any of the deals that these teams have amongst each other, what way is that going to? The start of the season, the mid-season, and the end of season meetings between the captains and the managers and all these people that come to these conferences and stuff like that, man, that's just going to be nuts. Like, who's going to want to go as a team member for Barcelona and represent Barcelona if there's been corruption, and the only reason that they've won a few titles in the last few years or anything is because of corruption? It's just, you got to feel for the players that are involved in that as well.
Would you say it takes away your chance in relation to the mystique around Messi at that current moment in time as well? Obviously, well, suppose when you look at Maradona and Argentina and how corrupt they used to be, like Christ and the God, like it was so blatantly obvious. And Argentina and football and corruption, that is, if you type corruption into football, it comes up with Argentinian football. There's so many theses, so many stuff written about it. Like it goes hand in hand, really. But as Mark said, all the big clubs will be pushing the boundaries of the rules, and obviously that did allude to obviously the tapping up of players, really. And obviously we've seen clubs very much getting a massive slap on the wrist. But as to Kev's point at the top of the show, as you alluded to, no one's going to be getting done. Like, none of these clubs will get done because you've got such a power trip in reality, haven't they?
Yeah, but after 17 years, if they're saying it's going over 17 years, I mean, that's a lot of corruption. And I mean, what you'd have to do is, are they going to make, think of it this way as well, Barcelona, as much money as Barcelona make?
By looks of it, like between 2001 and 18, so it's probably between them as well.
Yeah, so you're talking, that's Messi's entire career, right there. In a nutshell, you've got Jesus. Like, if Juventus are after getting done for something similar, which is what they did get done for, and they got dropped down a few divisions, didn't they? They go down to the third tier of their football, and came back up as well. I mean, it's the only outcome you can see for a team, and Juventus were like the king daddies of Italian football, so you have to understand as well, La Liga is a Spanish-based club and they're a Catalonian-based team. You might have people that just don't like Catalonians in the board, and they might decide and vote, just say, let's get rid of them anyway. You're going to have representatives from Real Madrid that will definitely call for the head, Valencia that will call for the head, Deportivo that will call for their head, and it's going to come down to a vote, really. But then you got to say, does the board have more power? Do they get extra votes in what's going to happen in this? And this is where the corruption kicks in. Are they worried about them being investigated? Did Barcelona slide something their way? You know, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
we need to do chat. What we need to do, we need to get me and Kevin in a room. We need to do is get the
15 whiteboards.
Get the cork boards out, like, and then put your pins and everything in it. Like, make it a whole series.
Jack, to find out your kit. No, okay.
Right. This stems when they bought Mascherano back in the day. It starts it started at West Ham with the Tevez and Mascherano, and then it went to Barcelona.
Did you know that they bought Xabi Alonso's nan a pair of new shoes?
That's the reason why Xabi Alonso left Liverpool, because Perez bought him a new luxury car.
Wow.
It wasn't the fact that Liverpool was skint at the time.
Yeah,
whatever interview Rafa does do.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, as Shay's alluded to there, it's like Real Madrid were probably doing the exact same as well.
Thing. Yeah, they could have been.
So,
are they going to be the White Knights? I mean, if they get investigated and that happens, I mean, if that dude's after making 7.3 million off Barcelona, he's definitely after making 10 or 11 off Real Madrid.
I want to see I want to see an investigation into the Champions League referees.
Yeah,
you look how dodgy it was with Real Madrid with their first 5 European Cups.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, if you haven't seen obviously you probably know the history, but if you don't, type it in tonight. Look into the first 5 European Cups Real Madrid won.
It's completely corrupt.
Yeah,
it's good. It's the same when you watch that FIFA documentary there on Netflix. You know, it shows it all up and the way UEFA and FIFA were leading, and you know the Africa, was it the CONCACAF, and all of these ones that were being led, and the corruption there was ridiculous. Envelopes flying everywhere. You know, so it's just nuts. They're all corrupted.
Yeah.
But even Barcelona owned by the fans, though.
Well, they've got nothing left to sell anyway, have they? They've sold their, what is it, Barca TV or something.
It's a load of lads handing your man fivers over 17 years.
Yeah, there's £2, £3 there. What is it? They'll be getting Carlos Pio back out of retirement to play centre half.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. FIFA,
and you feel sorry for them lads, because I mean they're probably some of the. Carlos Puyol is probably one of the nicest footballers on the planet ever. You know, he was such a good dude. He was such a.
It was proper leader on the pitch.
He was a leader. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Did you see those videos of him, like, was it like in the El Clasicos? Stuff would be getting thrown, like lighters and bottles and all that. And I think there was a video, you're probably seeing it, but where PK gets hit by something and he falls on the floor, and then PK just Puyol goes, sorry, just picks him up and goes, none of that. Get back there in that position. But I miss those proper centre halves.
Yeah. Jamie Carragher. Yeah, Jamie Carragher is one. You have to give it to him for being one of those. You know, they're gone. You know, they're gone these days.
I was watching. Well, I done an edit of the Champions League highlights today of the 05 and Maldini. Like, bloody hell, listening to that, he was.
But these are Cannavaro. These are all great centre halves, and then you look at the likes of Sol Campbell and all of these lads, and they're like terribly woke these days. And you're like, these were hard men back in the day. And it just shows the levels between these guys and some of the people that were classed as top defenders as well back in the day, which they were technically, but then as you know, mentally they just weren't. So you had Puyol and Maldini's and your Cannavaros that were fantastic defenders, Chiellini's, all of these guys, you know, great defenders and stuff like that. You know, your Carragher's, Hansons. You know, all of these guys, really good defenders back in the day. And
Terry, and like
Terry, you have to give to John Terry. Yeah, he was one.
Yeah, apart from he's a horrible person off the pitch. But we're speaking about.
I don't know how he got women, man. He's got that fuzzy haircut thing going on, doesn't he?
He's got money.
Has to be the money. So, like, if the minute he cuts his hair, it all just spikes up, doesn't it? It just becomes it's like a microphone. This is John Terry's head. You know, that's what it looks like. You know, looks like a fuzzy bit of a microphone.
Chat. If we were all on £300 a week, we'd be laughing.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're on £300 a week, you're very privileged. Just say we won't. Well, I know I won't be sitting here doing YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be out open some champagne bottles on a Friday night anyway. But yeah, big up there, Scouts. 3-0 tomorrow. Kev, what's your score prediction? I didn't do it.
I'll go by my team first, and I'm going to think about my team, and then once I get my team, I'll stick in a score prediction. If we're going to go a small but weaker for Real Madrid.
I went 7 on Dave's prediction before.
Oh, did you? I was thinking about 4 or 5, yeah. So we'll see.
12 hours later. But big up there. I was saying that we don't remember much. Big up there, Henry. I hope you're well and hope you have a good Friday night. I'm guessing that's Ricky because Luke, it's past Luke's bedtime currently. So big up to 1892 Reds TV. Ricky, if you're awake and you're not tucked in to bed, or no, Ricky's probably on a night out and he's got like the stream on in a nightclub or something. But that's commitment. But yeah, big up there. Remember
he's in the nightclub now, right now. Go. The lads are talking about Barcelona.
What is it? Play the Barcelona theme tune. Remember James Pennant as his Porsche or something? Yeah, like I think he got taken off him, didn't he? There is some silly sausages out there as footballers. A certain right back for Manchester City, as we know. This weekend, naughty boy.
I've seen something about that. I don't know what the story is, but that's why I wanted to talk about it tonight. I haven't got a clue what's going on with it. I haven't read up in it. All I know is that
he's basically looks like he's cheating openly when the CCTV camera's on his wife, and he's married.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, he was, and if he's getting done, like indecent exposure, supposedly.
Again, Jack, when you have Instagram boys that are in a football team and they're married, water is wet. When you have fellas that don't have Instagram accounts barely use them, and somebody else runs it for them, family, man. You know, you got to look at the way these lads, you know, carry their image.
Never are James Milner, that is it, Kev.
Nah, Jesus, no, man.
Jimmy Milner would never. No.
No, he's a Cotton Eye Joe man all day. You know what I mean? Head made the Cotton Eye Joe. He's sitting at home doing the ironing.
He sat there doing his iron and drinking Ribena.
Yeah.
And sitting down with his slippers on. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Buy it. Yeah.
And he's still winning championships.
I'm killing me son laughing.
Wait, yeah, is it? Hang on. Hello,
Yeah.
Luke. Hang on, Mark. It might not be Luke. When's Barcelona will appear Super League? Yeah, that Super League's going nowhere, sadly, mate. And that just obviously pinpoints what we were just discussing there, mate, in relation to all that. With FC Barcelona, be buying Jack for an extra few good reviews. I'm all for it. I can be bribed, chat if you want. I can be bribed.
£7.3.
What is it? I don't know. Packet of Walker's crisps, or like a couple of
packet of crisps and a cheeky smile.
I was wondering.
Oh Jesus! I just remembered what the next line in that sentence was. I was
wondering what you were going to say then, lad.
I know it's Friday night anyway. Yeah, I was saying, oh, he's saying packet of crisps. There's a song about that in there. I got to the second line, then I got to the third line. I was like, oh shit! I nearly went Gylfi Sigurdsson there. What the hell? Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. That's what we say in relation to Walker. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But it's literally there on CCTV. But yeah, that's where you are wrong, Jack. It's not Richard. Oh, bloody hell, Luke's fuming. He's called him Richard, chat. He's called him Richard. But my Wi-Fi is playing up, so it's the aliens, Luke. The aliens are coming to get you. I'd rather have Gary Lineker. Is it anyway?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 100%. Is Tom in the chat? Oh my god, I completely missed Tom. Where he is, right, Luke? Yes. Gary, it's 10-0. What did Gary say last week, Kev?
He said he said
5 or 6. He said 6.
He always says 8, anyway.
Yeah, you were close. I think I'm saying. Wouldn't surprise me. Gary actually got the. Gary, you got the Manchester United score prediction right, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah.
No, you were probably the closest anyway.
Yeah, because as Man United, he went down a goal from 8 to 7.
Yeah, there we go. A lot of footballers are brain dead off the pitch. Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Just listen to Harry Kane talking, and that's enough. Yeah.
Jack Grealish, I love him as a fella, but yeah.
So stupid.
I was at Anfield on Sunday or at any home match, but I just can't afford the tickets. Yeah, I think all of us will fill up really, mate. But that's the beauty of obviously the Liverpool community. It's around the world, mate, and we can watch it with our mates or with our family members or people that go to the game or don't. We're all just one big massive family, and very blessed to obviously speak about that. But we'll go on to obviously the first half. Anyway, Gary, I'm back in that. There we go, Shay. There we go.
Yeah, just what I was laughing at.
4-1 to the Reds for tomorrow. But yeah, right. We'll quickly on to the final story anyway, Chatton. As I say, it's very much hit the world news, Kev. In relation to this, obviously just getting to this has only just come out when we were just about to go live on air. Match of the day to air with no presenter or pundit after Gary Lineker told to step back. Just your thoughts on that?
Video. It's YouTube highlights.
Yeah, so basically YouTube highlights on the BBC.
So who's going to watch that? Yeah, that's the whole point. I think everybody should just not tune into BBC tomorrow night and just leave it off. Just go watch the highlights on YouTube, listen to Peter Drury doing every game, and just enjoy it that way because it's more enjoyable. Listen to the pundits after each game, go to the videos, I don't like saying it, go to Sky Sports, go to BT, go to whatever, and listen to the after shows and that. There's no point in watching Match of the Day. I know it's a national heritage thing to do, to sit down at night enjoying maybe a couple of cans after coming in, or if you're not going out, just enjoying a couple of cans after a family meal and sitting down and watching Match of the Day. But I mean, if the way they're treating Gary at the moment, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole if I was honest.
Yeah, like any of the presenters for that matter.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah, even Ian Wright. I love Ian Wright, man. I think Ian Wright's a decent dude. I did. There's no badness in these guys. Alan Shearer.
As you can see there, some of the tweets, obviously Alan Shearer. I have informed the BBC that I won't be appearing on Match of the Day tomorrow night. And obviously, as you alluded to there, him and Ian Wright, everyone knows that what Match of the Day means to me. But I've told the BBC I won't be doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow
this could kill Match of the Day, Jack.
Yes,
I think it could kill Match of the Day because I mean, to the point that really people watch it is because it's on at a perfect time after everybody's watched Saturday Night TV, and they're just and it's just before bed. You get an hour and a half before bed, and they're hitting, and they get to relax before their Sunday, and for me, it's an opportunity for other stations that are some sort of station to step in and create a show, a similar lineup. I mean, it worked with if you think of what was that one? It was called it became the Grand Tour. See, I'm after forgetting the old TV show's name,
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at Lick's comment. I did actually have to second guess there and make sure I haven't got any tabs open. Wait, what? Not quite a bit. Was it a Barnsley goal a while ago? Every fella has been there. We'll say that anyway.
That's why incognito mode is your friend, Jack. Should we type in what does a hair look like on the top of a nose or something stupid like that, do it in incognito mode, it never shows up in your history. It's great. No, but for me, man, whatever he's personal, he's allowed to have a personal opinion, whether he's a TV personality or not. He's not involved in politics. Jeremy Clarkson, but what was it? I forgot what the TV show was called. And I watched it for years, but they went to the Grand Tour on Amazon, and that took off for a good few years. So, I think it's time for when you have a national, because BBC it's run by the government pretty much, isn't it? It's run by the government. So it's like RTE over here. RTE is run by the government. I don't watch anything that's on RTE, to be honest with you. Top Gear, that's it, Mark. Thanks, man. And so for me, it's about time some of the other channels stepped up there, and ITV is a perfect opportunity there to do a show like that on a night, and invite
even
the shows
Channel
around.
4 as well.
Channel 4, yeah.
Because
I love Channel 4, yeah.
Yeah, Channel 4 is probably my favorite channel in relation to when
it's the least woke.
Yeah, when you're watching the content, but it'll probably be another 20 years when they eventually become a BBC.
Yeah.
And obviously they do a lot of great disability programs as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm doing like a dissertation on disability as well, and I'm obviously, that's my background as well. So, but like they do as many like realism documentaries programs, and obviously with guests as well in relation to disability or people from different backgrounds as well. Very well represented channel to say, would you say, Miss?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. I mean, balanced, they're there for, I hate the word minorities and majorities. I get that the Americans use it because the minority are the people that were not originally there. And I would say, well, wouldn't that make all Americans a minority? Because the Indians were there first. It's just, that's for me, it's such a weird topic. It's such an egotistical phrase to use against, backdrops of society when everybody's kind of, it's multicultural, and that's it. Everywhere's multicultural these days. It should be allowed to be multicultural. Otherwise, it just creates closure and bigotry, really, doesn't it? If you're closed off in the rest of the world, and you say this is how this works. But I mean, it's you're gone. UK has gone past the point where they can stop this now. I mean, stop anybody else coming in from other countries. I mean, it's so multicultural, it's ridiculous.
Basically, BBC tonight, right? As you said, it's become very. It's just showing itself up to the masses in reality, from top to bottom. There was a key. There was one of the Sky Sports presenters, chat. I'll try and get it up. That done. There was a journalist that actually done his qualifications on Sky, and he's massively in my books now, and I think in a lot of people's books. I would show it on here tonight, but I think I probably would get done for copyright, so I don't really want to be doing it.
If we talk over, it won't. But it doesn't show more than 30 seconds.
If we were on Twitch, I think it would have been sound. But I will link. Well, I'll try and get it up anyway. Well, basically, it was one of the presenters or one of the journalists on Sky, more or less, just called out everyone in relation to. He mentioned, as the chat alludes to, you, Kev, obviously in relation to Jeremy Clarkson. He was very outspoken in his thinking at a time when Top Gear was at its highest, the highest. And there was obviously conservative donors or like people running the BBC that have donated to Conservatives and other political parties as well. And nothing gets said about that. But yeah, it's very, for me, in relation to Gary, as you said, Kev, he's a sports presenter. And fair enough if he was outspoken on the BBC. Yeah. But he's on his own social media.
It's his time. It's his time. It's his place. It's his space. Everybody should be allowed to say what they want to say. I mean, you should go down to the lowest people. Even me, I perform every weekend, and I'm up and I'm on a microphone, and I have a lot of audience in front of me that I have them at my being breast when I'm talking, and when I'm singing, so they listen to every word I'm saying on that microphone, and I could use that to my advantage, but I don't need to because there's a time and a place for everything, and for Gary, he's just saying what's true, and in his own page and his own social media, he's not insulting anybody, he's not doing anything, he's just questioning the people in power. That's it.
It's a joke,
and but that just goes to show you that you're now not allowed to have free speech against those in power, and you might as well be North Korea.
That's setting a very dangerous precedent.
Yeah, it is. As when he's saying about Germany and all of that, going back to that,
and different.
North Korea
and other countries as well, and even especially over the last 6-12 months, people spoke about Russia as well, and but it's more or less, as you alluded to, the government's controlling the BBC Match of the Day currently as it stands. But yeah, disappointed, Eamons, very, very disappointed. But
narrative's been created, man.
I'm just hoping a lot of people out there are very much taking the blinkers off. Now when it's there, obviously me studying media, Kevin, obviously for a lot, all of us that are very aware of stuff like this that does go on in terms of not just on the BBC but just in news in general. I think the more paramount and the way in which the world is, so everyone just consumes everything on media, Kevin, now and chat. We're all glued to our phones. And obviously with the history of obviously Liverpool Football Club and the news outlets that have tarnished the great city of Liverpool and tarnished Liverpool Football Club after the Champions League final again, and obviously 20-30 years ago with obviously we know what happened then. But yeah, people believed the lies then, and people still believe the continuous lies not just on Liverpool, but in general in relation to being very narrow-minded.
I think back in there's two excuses for like Gen Z we're in now, right? Isn't it Gen Z now or whatever
I've
they're
just
called?
lost.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, Gen Z, they're all idiots. They're all stupid, and this sounds like an older person just calling younger people stupid, but it isn't. They're really stupid, and then you go back to the times when it was before the internet, where people didn't get all the information, and then it was media control, and this,
you had a debate with someone
yeah,
in a pub or in the
yeah,
street, and you didn't get angry at
yeah,
someone and like,
yeah.
oh, like you
Just
actually
wokeness, Jack.
you were an adult, like you were an adult. Like
You,
anything, if you had a issue or a debate, you'd try and get your point across. But now it's especially on social media platforms or into it's whoever can shout the loudest.
yeah,
Like
it's like
adults on the internet now can't have a very sit down debate and
it's
talk about
in recent years. There's these people that have come out and have had a voice on the internet and started saying stuff like, "Oh, it's my opinion, and it's my opinion this and my opinion that," and that my opinion turned into my opinion is fact. And that's all that matters. And then it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're even questioning my opinion. And then it goes on and on and on. I know you're to the point where they're watching every word you're saying and they're trying to police what free speech is. So for me, like that's complete wokeness, and it needs to be. It won't be long before. I think I said to you before off here before the right will physically attack the left, and that's what you're going to see because they're
when
just tired of their crap, you know. So
when is like with hope that this is like the tipping point. But it wouldn't surprise me if the BBC they've set the precedent now, and that's what's happened. Like, and you're looking at that now, Kev. If Lineker doesn't come back, she doesn't come back. They literally, as you said, shot themselves in the foot. In reality, now anyone that wants to get that BBC job, the sports journalists at the BBC or any organisation had so much respect for Lineker and the people before them.
Yeah.
Anyone that does take that job now will be more or less public enemy number one in relation to sports media.
Yeah, there'll be vultures. You know, taking over. See, everybody should refuse the job. You know, anybody who's involved in football or has respect for these people that are stepping back from their media job because of, you know, wokeness, then everybody else should not accept it either, and that could be the end for the match. And that's the whole point. This is not just a fight against somebody. It's a fight against it's a fight against free speech, and it's stopping. People can't go with a narrative. The problem is so many people have gone with a narrative in the last few years. We're going to go down into a crevice of you know, with regards, you know, all of these LGBTQ, whatever the hell that's called, the issues that keeps going down and down and down. I know you can't say anything bad about anything, you know, even if you mention it in a sentence. It's applied. They're calling it violence now. These woke people, it's violence against me because you have an opinion.
Like that's the thing, you know, mate. We come from a generation. Well, like I know you're a bit older than me, but I think I'm nearly 30, chat as well. Not an unfair, not about 30s, but like I think I come from like probably the last generation, really. Like even like a generation of flip phones and a Nokia and a teletext. And actually, when you before the incident, when you actually knocked on your mate's door and says, "All right, lad, are you coming out?" No, he stayed in. He's doing his exams. But yeah, it's disappointing. Probably, I think all of us are very disappointed, Kev, aren't we? And Chas as well.
The funny thing is, anybody who talk to hates wokeness. So I'm like, why is it getting so much media time? Why is it getting so much? Like, who is actually backing it?
Like, you're looking in relation to sports news in general, mate.
Yeah.
Like, me and you, and the majority of everyone on YouTube knows exactly what gets clicks on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, we could title a title clickbaity, get a bit of traction in terms of make it controversial as possible. We can. And even doing, like, repost matches, you can scream your heads off because that's what it is. That's what modern media is now. In terms of whether that be sports, whether that be anything, entertainment news, it's all about negativity. Negativity for like the last 200, 300, since the human evolution of time, negativity always sells because people love to thrive in people's misery. That's what human evolution has become for me. Getting quite
Yeah.
deep there anyway.
No, but
But,
it's a topic that has to be talked about, Jack. Especially, I don't see many other people making video. Like for me, a lot of people should be every one of the people that do what we do now should be making these type of videos to say, look, we're completely against this wokeness bullcrap. We understand that there's a line that can be crossed at any point in time, but he wasn't name calling anybody. He wasn't saying anything. He was just calling out people in power for making the wrong decision and saying that this is bad. And just because he's associating it to exactly something similar that happened in history is not him saying that they are. He's just saying this this is what happened in history. And this it can't be ignored. I'm calling a spade a spade. That's what it is. And everybody should be allowed to say pretty much what they want and then debate about it.
yeah,
But this
we all,
cancel culture thing, man, has to stop. It
yeah,
really does.
like
It's
we,
terrible.
everyone's sensible enough.
Yeah.
And as we said, it's everyone free speech to a point, really, in relation to everyone knows what's sensible and everyone knows what discrimination is. Everyone, like, and people quite rightly will pull people up in that moment as well. But it's very disappointing. But as Alan, big up there, Alan. Hope you're well, mate.
It's
Absolutely hate
damaging the world. I only have to go to certain points about, that's kind of recently about Hogwarts Legacy and stuff like that. I've had those people in my chat coming up and attacking me for no reason, just because I want to play a video game.
And you're just a streamer, like,
I'm just a streamer. And the people that made those games are just developers. They don't see the same point. And even what the initial person said that did it wasn't even all that bad. They just said that, somebody shouldn't be playing sports if they're too strong for the sport. And that's it. And that can't. Free speech is free speech, mate. We've been saying the same stuff for 40 or 50 years when all of this started coming about. And it should just be kept the same. Let people be what they want to be, but when they start controlling your narrative, controlling how you think about, making sure that you think their way, then that's free speech loss for me. So that has to go.
Like, that's the thing, innit, mate? Like, even if I had like 1 million subscribers or something, I'd hope that, of course, you've got to abide by, like a lot of businesses, you've got to abide by what, like, especially if you're getting backing or funding. Obviously, especially if you've got sponsors. Sponsors are a massive thing on YouTube as well. So if you're getting sponsored, obviously you can't be stepping out of line, basically. But I'd hope, even in the future, like, I'd still be, and like you, Kevin, or there's everyone that does content, you'd be putting content that was true, and you wouldn't become someone that you're not in reality. In all honesty,
just create, as you said, creating clickbait with no context. And that's it. You're following through on the word. You're just doing it to just pander to people that just want to see
tick
this.
boxes, to tick boxes.
Yeah, I never want to do that. Dude, if I got cancelled in the morning, it's not much to cancel, except, well, even in my music, I would
just
still
cancel it.
I would still turn around and say the same thing to the other 5 to 10 people that came in and watched me. That I was left. I can't, because then how could you be happy if you're pandering to just an ideology, really, rather than
it's like best of what is British, Kev. Like, I think Britain is a very welcoming country, and I think Britain and the world really should help when people need it the most, and really protect people first and foremost, and look after people. And be
it's
together.
the same over here with Ireland. We've got people in power. It's over here in our country at the moment, and they're just all about making the money. And so, like, we've got the lowest tax on companies in the whole of Europe, but we've got the highest tax on people. And it's ridiculous. We people pay 46% out of their wages over here in this country just for the tax alone, and that's half their wages. Back to the government. And then you got the government, where the next nearest country that's lower to us is like 11% for company tax, right, for that, but we're only at 4%. Would you believe that? And in this country as well, Apple were told by the European law to pay 13 billion back to this country in taxes that they should have been paying at the rate that's in the European Union, and Apple paid it, and our government wouldn't accept it. They've just put it into a side fund, just left it there.
Just for themselves and their mates.
And they've just done that, and that was 13 billion. Us owing to the Europe was 30 billion. That was taken away, all of that, over the next 5 years.
Look at the cost of living crisis, Kev. Like, people and everyone, like, everyone's affected. Like, they can't put the bloody heating on, and you've got Shell, a massive corporation or massive business that has made, as you alluded to, with Apple there, Shell made trillions of profit or billions or whatever it was. But as I said, it all goes to the back pockets. And
Funniest thing is recently the price of oil has gone down, and oil creates electricity. Yet electricity is not going down. And that's the thing. Yeah, it's just greed, man, and it has to stop.
Yeah. A free press should always be encouraged, but false analysis and facts should be called out.
Yeah,
100% there, Abrams. I don't chat. If you haven't seen, I'm a massive watcher of Question Time anyway. I watched it last night, and that's the thing. That's where it comes down to. Obviously, obviously me studying media for like the last 6-7 years. It's so blatant obvious. Like when you just, it's like. It's like you got a puppet on a string, the modern day politicians, and it's like someone's got a puppeteer like above them and control and everything. But
Mark just nailed it on the head there pretty much. At the very last message that he put, I just
it's like Jack editing the way the conversations goes by skipping messages. Well,
deleting the ones that he doesn't want to see and putting in the one and popping up the ones.
I never do that. Clickbait. Yeah, I never clickbait apart from the Jude Bellingham stories, Mark. We know that.
That's just transfer stuff. That's the game.
And the cheeky Mbappe story.
Rumor mill is all good for football. It's how it works. So the transfer windows, but like putting up falsehoods and stuff like that. That's pretty bad. But no, we're getting back. It's getting back. We're kind of we're going off on a tangent there. But even getting back to Gary Lineker, I 100% stand behind the dude. I think anybody should be allowed to have their own free speech in their own country where they pay their own tax and do whatever they like, regardless of their job. They're not a servant to the people. They're not in a government public service job where they have to. They're not like they're not monarchy where they have to body to the people. They have to bow to the people and listen to what they say. He is a guy that's just on TV talking about football, and he should just be allowed to say whatever he wants, just like the rest of us. Simple as that. I think it's disgraceful what the BBC have done. I think they should apologize to him, but they won't because they're run by the people that don't apologize to anybody, and that's the problem. And that's where you get a circle, and this is why people like that need competition. And this is why I say get a match of the day going or something, game of the week, games of the week or something like that, or a Premier League now or something like that going on one of the other channels.
And I'll be all. I'd honestly hope if Lineker, Shearer, and obviously Righty, I'd love it. As we mentioned, if it takes Channel 4 to actually go, yeah, boys, do you want to do a Saturday, Sunday night episode on at like 10 o'clock every night?
Bring in the championship as well and mix the games. Just don't show the Premier League game, show a championship game, show a Premier League game, get them all, everybody talking about it. Get a big panel going. It'd be great.
Yeah, and they probably do a better job anyway. Yeah. And hence why I'll probably never work for those organisations. My countless videos I've done over the years. But as I said, hopefully it'll work for someone that actually is good and independent. And no, they're definitely never going to get me for an interview. But, but that's the thing. We, Kev, and all of us, we stand for our values, and as Daddy, he stands for his values, and everyone. But as I said, anything else, Kev, you want to mention? Or
we haven't got much to kind of go on. I mean, there's news about Gavardiol breaking recently. I don't know much about that.
Get your thoughts on. Would you like him at Liverpool?
We need a top quality defender. That's telling you straight. We can't rely on Konate. He's had a few injuries, and we can rely on him when he's available. We can't rely on him when he's not available, and we can't rely on the rest that are there because they're just, to be honest with you, Matip and Gomez have been the cause of a lot of our problems this season defensively, and that's what I do believe we need a top quality rotational centre back in there that can be just as good as Van Dijk and Konate and can rotate with both. Gavardiol fits that bracket, and I would still even get another young one because I can't see. I think Matip will go at the end of the season. If he has that feeling about it, we know Milner's going at the end of the season. Bobby's already announced he's at the end of the season. There's a good rotation of players coming through. Ox is going to go at the end of the season. Kate is going to go at the end of the season. That's a lot of players out the door that were deemed as part of the first team squad. Jones might be kept on for another season. Given an extra chance being a Scouser, but Gomez could be sold to the highest bidder. Really, I think that
Protect his
that
value massively.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be sold for 30 odd. If we're going by how we've sold Solanke or something, now we could get 30 odd million easily for Gomez out the door in a deal. Initially 25 million up front and probably another 15 on top of that. You could, as time goes on. Um, I just think that the team that's there right now, especially the forward line that we have, needs backup. If Jota's going to go, Bobby's gone as well. That could open up more of a door for Carvalho to be given more of a chance in the team, or another striker to be bought in. I wouldn't mind that man, from Napoli. Do you want to come over there? He'd be great, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah.
So, but like for me, yeah, it's a big season as well for FSG. And what they're going to, a big window for FSG if they're going to back, and we have to say we know everybody's been on the FSG out bandwagon for such a long time, but I've always been on the fence. Recently Maurice was kind of on the out because they weren't backing us. But if they are
I
staying, I want to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
statement is very damning over the last 48 hours. We've seen
yeah,
that, didn't we, mate? You've probably read it. We've
yeah,
all read it. They're going nowhere. And me and you
yeah.
spoke about it. I think the majority
Mm,
of everyone on the socials that we said weeks ago. As I said, I done my video, like everyone did on social media about, Liverpool getting taken over,
yeah,
and reacted to it. But when you analyse it back, we spoke of Man United and Liverpool. They're both set of American owners, make so much out of both football
yeah,
clubs. They're not stupid. They're not naive. They run it well to an extent. If they're a top 4 team or top 6 team in the Premier League, and they generate massive profits.
they what they do is that they invest a bit and then they bleed.
Yeah.
And they do every maybe third or fourth when they do massive investments because they can. This is like the profits on top of their own profits that they can turn over, and they put that back in there or they borrow against it, because everybody knows running the business, if you're in debt, debt is a good thing in a large corporation. It allows you to pay less taxes. It gives you more leeways. It opens the door for a lot more expenditure rather than being in total profit. Because in total profit, they're coming after your tax, they're coming after your money, they're coming after whatever. But if you're in some sort of debt, you're still making the same profits, but you're always keeping yourself in debt, because if there's an owing there, you can't pay the tax on something you owe. So it's just, this is how big businesses work, and they do it that way. So the Americans are smart when they're doing what they're doing, especially the Glazers. They know what they're doing with business. They've got that stuff wrapped up. But the problem, I don't understand what Manchester United fans' problems are with the Glazers for the majority of the time. I know they take money out, so does
Get
FSG,
the knowledge,
so does
start
Tom.
chat.
Yeah, but but for me, they've invested so much money into that squad that it should be winning every season. And they haven't. It's just never worked out. They've just made bad decisions. The stadium has never been built back up, and it's starting to crumble now a bit. And for me, like, it's just, you really have to look into all aspects of what's going on with an ownership, rather than just say, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I need it now. Because if I don't get it now, then it's because of you. And I've always had that headset when I'm in between, but it's just the last few windows, I didn't like that they haven't timed it right with their spending, especially after we win the league. It shouldn't just be like, we're going to have to give you the league, we have to give you the Champions League, you're okay enough for a season before we spend money. No, it should be top down. We should be going for it every season. And the only reason we've been going for it every season is because of Klopp. But now this window coming up in the summer is massive for FSG. It's massive for Liverpool Football Club, because we're getting back on the right track with results. It's 13 points from the last 15, which is great in comparison to what we were doing earlier in the season. And those drop points are obviously the draw against Crystal Palace. So we're on the up. We're more than capable, as I said, to go unbeaten in 15 games, and we've already done that in 5 so far. And Man United being one of them, as a 7-0, the highest drubbing they've ever gotten, and that has to give us massive confidence, especially with Bournemouth next, and then Real Madrid after that, where we need 3 goals just to kind of bring it back to level. I don't see we're talking about that. I don't see the.
Well, for me, I think we're then end up with 2 of them. I think we will get 2 English or British midfielders. I think we will get 2 English midfielders.
Yeah.
When you look at it, me and you done a video, Kev, done we? I think I done a video a very long time ago when I sat down and analysed, obviously, the Liverpool players running out of contract. I think it was like 6 months ago. And we
Yeah.
spoke about it then we chat in relation to the players going, and it was, I more or less said it was probably about 5 players leaving, Kevin. Now you're looking at Ox now, but everyone knows the names. Everyone's been round in bloody circles. But I think for me, that Liverpool will definitely sign 2 English players, whoever that will be. I think it will be interesting. I think I like Mount, but I've me and chat, and quite so I understand 100% where people are coming from the not liking of the sign of Mount. What camp are you in? Are you? Would you like?
Well, I've seen how good Mount can be at Chelsea, and then I've seen managers come in and ruin him and playing him out of position, not doing the right thing.
Good night, Henry. Have a lovely night. Thank you for tuning in.
He would be very much, a rotation on that left hand side where Thiago would be, normally, and of that midfield. He's a good anchor player, and he can score a goal as well. So I think we need midfielders. I know we have to go and get maybe a couple of worldies really to balance it out, and then as you said, we need a couple of English players just to keep the English stock in the team. But Mason Mount, if it was coming down to the fact where it was Mason Mount or Jude Bellingham, then no, I would take Jude all day. But if it was coming down to the fact that it's Mason on top of Jude or somebody who's like Jude in that kind of ilk, then I'd say, yeah, well, I mean, why not? I mean, he's a good player. He can be an even better player on the top in the top. He's got Premier League experience. When he's on the game, he's everybody's expecting him to be a jar for Chelsea, and then they got on his back when he's not.
Yeah, we've got the resources, Kev, at the end of the day, haven't we? We have as a football club. Like we all know, everyone's been round circles with your mates in the pub or in work, or when you're bantering with Manchester United fans, City fans, and Chelsea fans. Liverpool have penny pinched for the best part of the last very long time in the market.
Yeah. Good night, Henry, by the way. Sorry.
Have a lovely night, Henry.
Yeah, they have penny pinched,
And John's spot on there. Like fans, as we know, fans are deluded if they think FSG are going to be spending any money. But at the end of the day, like the first most important person, John, is Jurgen Klopp.
Mm-hmm.
We know how adamant he will be, and of course, he's massively contradicting himself, Cavani, and chat Jurgen Klopp in the last 12 months. I always pinpoint the interview he did. Was it last January when he had the year where he had no centre halves at the football club, and he was more or less screaming at the owners in the press conference as much as he possibly could without getting sacked. And he was forced to go and get a centre back from bloody the Championship. In all honesty. It will stem, and it will always be. We've got Jurgen Klopp in charge. He's not stupid, as certain people do think out there. Like he's a very intelligent man. He's a previous Premier League winner. He's a previous Champions League winner. He's won 2 titles in Germany against a very dominant Bundesliga side. He knows what it is to win, and we will be back again. Like he sounds. The buck always stops at Jurgen, and I'm hoping he puts down his foot. In all honesty, Kev.
I want to see that as well. I want to turn around and say, apparently we're going to have 225 million or something like that. That's available to spend now, and anything else is just borrowed against. So, I mean, we've seen a window or so that we have spent near enough to that money. Which are Fabinho's and your Alisson's at one point, your Virgil van Dijk at another point. A lot of people put down to the fact that it is out of the Coutinho money when it came to Alisson and Virg. But there's a few times that we've spent close, breaking the 100 million mark and stuff like that, but it's not been too often. But the fact that there is the amount of players that are leaving this summer, and he's brought through Harvey Elliott, well, obviously, from Fulham and Carvalho. He's brought up by Chetic through the ranks. But
Carvalho's the biggest enigma for me, mate.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with it. Yeah, look, he's a developing player. He's got to be looked at as a developing player, no matter how good he was at Fulham. He's been played out of his normal position, where he's been always, the focal point through the middle of that number 10 role, and popped up on either side from that. But he's never been kind of an out-and-out winger where he's been kind of been played an awful lot. And that's just down to the availability of other players really, and the quality that's ahead of him in Luis Diaz, in Gakpo, and in Nunez, and Jota even. So, and Bobby, Jesus, when we're going, and all of them will be picked over Carvalho unless he forces his way into that team and makes himself undroppable, really. Kind of like Stefan Bajcetic did in the last few weeks, made himself really undroppable, but he needs to be rested every so often as well. He needs to be nurtured because he is a young player, but he just wants to play ball. And Carvalho's got to do the same. He's got to adapt and get on with what Klopp wants.
Especially if we can save money, Kev, and chat.
Yeah.
We can actually save 70-80 million for long term. Obviously, getting a 6 and replacing, first and foremost, Gerrard. But you never going to replace a player like Gerrard. Similar when Trent retires. We'll be very fortunate if we get another Trent coming through under them. Like, there's certain positions that you very much can't replace, as I said. But as Aaron said there, Klopp needs at least 200 million this summer, and obviously Phil's replied with that minimum and 100% there. And Daz, to your question, matey, obviously you've just tuned in, everyone's wondering what in relation to Gary Lineker. I'll say the other fella from Manchester then. Gary Lineker, the BBC programme is not going ahead. It's going ahead, but basically, as Kev alluded to, it's basically going to be highlights and nothing else.
YouTube highlights.
Kev, do you reckon the commentary team's going to be turning up?
I don't know.
Because for me, chat, that's an interesting. But shout out. Someone said that on Twitter, so apologies. Didn't actually get the name, but it was an interesting point that people did make. Imagine, for me, if I was a commentator and you had massive respect, what happens if they don't turn up tomorrow?
I would all of them get together, get into a WhatsApp group, tell each other, and say we might go to the game because we
like John Motson, be there but don't commentary.
Yeah, be there, do what you need to do, but say what you need to about Gary as well, and just say we're with you, Gary. This is why we're here. We're going to commentate in the game, but know that we're behind you, and this is the reason why we're coming to commentate tonight. And if you said something like that, then it's totally understandable to the commentary team.
But that I get it. This is out though, like that's the thing. We've done video edits, like that would probably get edited out for me if I was.
Live, well, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about the live conversation, it could get edited out, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I keep forgetting that it's been recorded for Match of the Bloody Day, and but if it's live, you do it. But I would if they were live on any radio station. I would say every commentator to turn around that's live and say it and say like we're behind you, Gary, because say what you like. It's just you can't put a muzzle on people and their right to free speech.
People in the big powerful positions in sport need to just get together, and people with platforms first and foremost that have got a massive platform. Me and Kev, I love my community of going there, but if I had 100 or 500 million, I'd be saying exactly the same things as I'm saying there. But sadly, we don't go as far. Sadly, but I'm open. I'm pretty sure as tonight has showed, and the next 24 hours and 48 hours, there's everyone's together behind them. As well. But big up there, Daz. So yes, it might be just the stadium ambience in relation to that would be mad. Certain stadiums would be very quiet.
Yeah, I think the match of the day, the commentators need to because I'm thinking about the live commentators, but the match of the day commentators, they need to be back. They need to back off.
Stepping back.
Yeah. They shouldn't report for match of the day, to be honest with you. And if match of the day show, and to be honest with you, out of respect to Gary Lineker, until they've done their due diligence, they should have stopped match of the day as well. The whole lot should have been skipped over and said, okay, look, we're not going to do the show without you, and we're going to sit down and talk about, going forward.
I don't think they've actually thought about that, mate.
They haven't thought about it. They've just reacted to the reacted to the wokeness, and that's it. And they don't know what to do. The problem is, there's a lot of these people that are now in the thing that was going back to earlier, that now with a lot of game and reviews and a lot of woke stuff and things like this. Me, I my expertise is also in game and stuff and journalism and that side. It's happening there as well. So there's a lot of reviews coming in that's happening, and it's just being run by people that are of that woke narrative. and they all have to get together in their little groups and saying this is what we're going to write in all our columns, because now we're the guys that are writing about these things. We're after putting ourselves in this power position, and it's just a collective of wokeness, really, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop, and they're as much as leeches as John alluded to FSG being. They are leeches. They are just horrible narrative controlling people, and they need to be shut up fast.
Yeah. We get through all these comments as well. Been going for bloody an hour and 15, Kev.
Yeah, it's easy.
Massive thank you, and a massive thank you to everyone that's tuned in. We're just going to obviously read through all your comments before we do head off. That's been a fantastic.
We still haven't talked about Bournemouth yet.
Well, me and Kev will do the post match tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is it? I'm going to be doing a watch along tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get Kev on the post match because I've already done me pretty much. I'm absolutely knackered, lad.
Yeah, okay, that's all right.
Sorry, lad. Well, I could leave and then just leave Kev to his own devices anyway on the channel.
I'd say I'm chatting on there.
Well, I wake up and Kev's still going live. I'm like, I'm gone. We need to go.
There
we go. You used to put in all-nighters anyway, so
yeah, I used to be like my charity stream, but I was also getting drunk at the same time, and then I watch them at Twitch and I think, oh, what? Yeah. And then got, I've had a couple of those.
Yeah, well, big up there, chat. Keep on getting your comments in. We'll get to every single one. And if you are new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. And obviously, mods, Marco, one of the lads as well, anyone. Drop obviously Kev's channel links as well. Obviously his Twitch and obviously his YouTube as well, please, mates. We need more money for the 200. They need 200 million, especially with the big chunk of the players leaving. He's got to get the players in the squad depth when you've got the League Cup and the Champions League. If you get top four, yeah, I think strengthening on top and some. Obviously, it was off the back when we won the Champions League. That's when you could have went to any player in world football and went, do you want to come for us? Do you want to sign for us? Because they would have went, oh, you just won the Champions League. Yes.
Yeah.
If
you're looking at money wise, I mean, this news about Jada could be really true going to Newcastle. Because you get 60. You could easily get 60-70 million from easily, because we spent 30 million less than that. Easy gets 70 million from, and that's already 70 million out of that chunk of 200 million that can go
and then
back
wages you saving on that as well.
Saving on top of that, so what's that? So he's probably on a few million.
You're probably saving 150, 180 million in terms of
the
whole.
If Gomez goes as well, I know you're going to have to spend the money on that. I think you get 30 million. That's already half the money brought up in just 2 sales alone between Gomez and Jota.
And obviously Ox's contract, Naby's contract that you would have potentially
wages gone again. That's your extra 50. You're talking 25 million there out of all of these guys going, because Naby's on a high contract wage. He's on like 100,000 a week,
150 something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 1,000 a week. So I mean, that's a lot of money over the year. And what's that? That's 600,000 a thing. You do that by 10. That's 6 million. That's 7 million a year that he's on. So you've got a few of them. That's the money cleared out straight away. Now you're going to have to put the money back into that. So that 7 million is going to be set aside, and that's saying, okay, that's wages money. That's going on to another player that comes back in. This is Joe's wages money, who's only probably on about 60,000. We're going to get in somebody who can stay around the 90,000 narrative, and then you're talking about Jada's wages, who's probably on the 100,000 as well at Liverpool. So that's another 7 million. So that already replaces the wages of them, but doesn't go into the actual buy-in fund, because that's what the main sale money is going to do. But like you're talking, there's at least 100 million to be sold off in the club easily.
Eamon's Genius will be Wales. Thing is, Eamon's I tried to get his. That's what I was looking at before when Kev was going on talking about his transfers and that. I was trying to find us, but did you see Genius's tweet? Supposedly he come out. I've seen it before we go on there. Supposedly he stepped back as well, and that's what obviously me and Kev were alluding to. And he's alluded to chat before. Obviously, it's a poison chalice now. No one wants to go to it. Even as we said, Genius, he's been more or less groomed for that role for like the last 5-10 years. And I'd rather listen to Painter. I think a lot of us would in relation to me and Genius. What's he won? The Audi Cup. Genius will be wheeled out, but it won't be back.
He won the I Tore Lee Boyer shirt. Award.
Well, won't be a Mark Chapman. There won't be any Mark Chapman there, as we spoke about there before. He'll probably abstain from his duties tomorrow. Obviously, he might not get paid for the day's work, but I think as
They'll bring in
Kev
some
alluded to.
random. They won't
Yeah,
bring in next football. They'll probably bring in some random journalist to do it, maybe, or so. Somebody has nothing got to do
but
with them.
yeah, 100%, miss. All the money the club has made over the last 5 to 6 years, yeah, net spend, yeah, to top clubs with money, all gone, certainly not spent on players. 100% agree with it, John. We could go for another bloody hour easy, but
We've done all of this, yeah.
yeah,
We've covered
but,
FSG spending and the
there's
stadium bits and
plenty more hours for that as well. You will have the same arguments
we
coming,
we want
especially.
we want to see drastic change the same as you.
Yeah, they should get anyone probably really at the minute, mate. For big up their journeys. Hey Jack, I hope you I know it's been a while. Work's been rough. Well, Journey, hope you're okay, mate. We're always here, mate, and a massive thank you very much for taking out the time this evening, mate. And as I said, hopefully we've tried to cheat it up anyway, or well, really do appreciate you tuning in, mate. And as I said, hopefully work does pick up and all that. And as I said,
Quickly, Jack, starting 11.
big up,
What
big
do you
up.
think? Who do you
Oh,
think? Who do you think?
Check before start 11. I go check out your start 11s in. I go Ali, Trent, Van Dijk, Canate, Robbo, Fabinho, Pacetic, Elliot, Diaz, Jota. No, Diaz. No, don't even fit. It's been a long show. Just Darwin Núñez, Salah on the right, and Gakpo through the middle. Kev, here you go.
I'd match that. I'd match. I want to go strong. I want to keep lads playing into form. Keep the form going. Just play the best that we can. Don't just script. Don't be sticking James Milner in there. Don't be sticking just for the sake of resting players for Wednesday. Keep them. They're in a hype. Let them go in, destroy Bournemouth. Take if what would you say? Take a 12 to 15 goal aggregate in your head into Real Madrid and think we've just scored 12 to 15 goals in the last week. We can go and score 3 here.
Could you imagine we went to the fucking Bernabeu? Well, pardon my French, Jesus. Yeah, it's possible. Apologies, chat. If there's any kids still up at this time, get to bed. We should be able to go to there, like, imagine we actually done the unthinkable and scored, as you said, miss. We're fully capable of scoring goals. It's just about the back door. Really.
I thought it was going to be 5 or 6-0 to us in the first time when we scored those first 2 goals, and then Gomez happened. And I know people are saying don't jump on Gomez, don't happen, but it did. This is most of the issues came through that right hand side of the centre back defense. Gave away the free kick, didn't step out to the header on the third goal. Passed it back too short for Ali. Ali made the wrong decision because he didn't give him enough time to think about it on the ball. Loads of stuff happened there. Bajcetic lost the ball first day in the middle of the park trying to do his Thiago turns. And a lot of stuff just happened.
He started as well the first 15-20 minutes against Real, but I think their experience showed.
Yeah. It did. Yeah.
As you said.
Our heads dropped. We turned into Manchester United that night against Real, and that's what happened. And it's exactly the same thing. We had dropped, we were overthinking things, overthinking situations, nothing was happening, and then we just said, feck it, just click, just play our football. And we have done the last while, and that's been the only bad blip besides Crystal Palace. But Jurgen always says F Crystal Palace. He's always done that, but Crystal Palace they always get good results against big teams.
And they've been absolutely appalling, but our bogey team, so is City. It's just as I think is Colin Smith on tomorrow. That's depending on how the result goes tomorrow. If I'm in a good mood, I might potentially do another stream because I know I've been smashing out recently, and so I get a late surprise, a good one on a Saturday night. For that, maybe a boxing stream. Sad to know Bobby will be leaving from Journey. I know the news to do, but I think Fabian.
Is it name what Journey saw?
Not too sure about that, mate.
What is it?
Not too sure. I don't know. Fabian.
LFC jersey. Okay.
Got my first. Oh, not too bad.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's.
What you have to. I know what you were saying. So, was it sad to know that Bobby would be leaving? Oh, I know I couldn't read it there for a second. Oh, I know the name is new to you, but it's Fabian Fabmac. Got my first child recently to name her. Her name is Journey. Ah, nice. So I'm going to use her name. I'm going to get her an LFC jersey. Okay.
Oh, sorry
Nice.
there, Fabian. Sorry, mate. It's
I
been a
couldn't
bloody
read it.
long
It was
day.
coming up all jumbly. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry there,
Anyway,
Fabian. Big up, Fabian, and congratulations are adored there. Anyway, so obviously best of luck, and obviously, yeah, make sure you support Liverpool, mate. That's
absolutely
good.
100%.
That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, there'll be no Manchester United fans in your household. I'm over Fabian, as you know, mate. But big up there, obviously. Right there, Kev. What have you seen?
I was looking because I couldn't read them properly, but now you can see them. I was wondering what was going on because it was like fluctuating. You can't see it inside the StreamYard thing, so we can't read it properly. We have to click on it multiple times sometimes.
Yeah, and me being having dyslexia massively. There's no private as well, but it's late.
And I just get drunk a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, Allison Trent, but big up there, Daz. Check out your starting 11s out. That's the last bit. Ali, Trent, Canate, Virgil, Robbo, Stefan, Fab, Harvey, Salah, Nunes, and Jota. Yeah, it's good lineup that does.
Yeah.
Scouser said Fab, Bacetic, obviously Fab and Elliot, rest the same as the other day. Spot on there, mate. Big up Philip, big up Daz. Retty Hatton, lads, is on in the cards. That'd be a good shout there, Daz. Obviously, what a fella Ricky Hatton was. But Kev,
yeah,
been an absolutely fantastic night. Are you live so everyone can head over? Or?
Yeah, I'd say I might do a bit on it. Well, I'll see. It's probably a bit late now, but I'll see. You might see me go live on Spider on YouTube.
Are you live tomorrow?
I'm live tomorrow for the watch along. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll be starting at about 12, I think. So I might even have my dad on. So I think my dad is popping down for a meal in the afternoon. So he might sit here and just kind of slump in the chair and look at the TV screen and then say the odd word. No, but my dad he's an ex. He actually used to coach for Ireland, and he used to be a manager for Ireland. We won the Four Nations tournament 3 out of 4 years, and that's between England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. So he won that as the manager, like 3 out of the 4 years. Became second the first year. So that was good, crack.
Good.
Yeah. He knows his stuff.
And we good that lad. But chat, as I said, massive thank you very much. Obviously, Spider LFC, obviously head over to Mark's. Big up there, Fabian as well. Big up to every single one of you. Really do appreciate all your bloody support. And obviously, Kev, and obviously I will be live tomorrow as well for a live watch along. I need to get to bed because I won't be up in the morning. Because the new episode of The Mandalorian is out if you watch.
I wait for them all to finish and then I watch them all together.
So I'll be watching that tonight. Hopefully get up. And I'll be setting 2 alarms for tomorrow. And Daz has gone 4-0.
I'm thinking 4 to 5-0 is a good shot. I hate going that high because sometimes I could let the disappointment, but I just think we're on such a high. I think if we score early, it'll be that. If we let them get their teeth stuck in or their feet settled at home. It is at Bournemouth. So, it's an annoying spot to go to.
So, chat, we will be live, and both me and Kev, so really do appreciate it, as always, chat. Obviously, just chilling on a Friday night, as I said, talking about the footy, talking about how corrupt our media is as well, and all that jazz. But everyone, if you're going out or whatnot, if you're having a chilled night tonight, enjoy it with the family, your friends and that. As I said, much love. To obviously, massive thank you, Kev, as well, for joining me this evening, and everyone, we'll be live tomorrow. We will have our Kev, I'll be getting Kev on for the post-match, getting a couple of lads on as well. So you have a live stream watch along, post-match reaction as well. And obviously Kev will be having his live stream watch along as well. And me and Kev will be getting another channel set up next week, which we good. That'd be a lot more free reign in terms of content anyway.
More Premier League stuff, more,
bit more mixed stuff than that.
You'll see more people coming on from other channels, and we'll get more of a conversation going than just about Liverpool, so we can really study all the Premier League teams and get more involved. So
yeah, good chat, Kev, everyone, you're absolutely bloody legends. You can tell I'm bloody tired, chat. I really do love you all. Love you, Kev. Plus, you've gone for an hour and a half.
I know. I love me too. It's great.
The
wife says that to me all the time. She's like, "Oh, I love you, Kev," and I go, "Yeah, I love me too," and then I don't say anything else.
In a bit, yeah. See you in a bit, everyone. Massive thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow. You never walk alone. Up to that.
Feel like that.